What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the cost to remodel a small and compact kitchen to a large and open concept kitchen. As contractors, we know a lot of people now want to have open concept kitchens, everything to be open. They want to remove walls and open walls. This essentially raises the value of their home, but the thing is, not all walls can be opened or removed. So today I'm going to talk exactly about how you can get into this process and how you can actually remodel a kitchen even if your home is very small, for example 1,200 square feet. I'm going to use a personal example of a kitchen remodel that we did this last summer. Client had a very small house. It was about 1,300 square feet. The kitchen was very compact. It was very small. There was not a lot of cabinet space. We actually removed 2 whole walls and shortened 1 wall, which expanded the entire kitchen. It kind of gave the whole house an open concept, because before then, everything was in its own separate room. The living room, the family room, the dining, and the kitchen, they were all like separate rooms. And now it's all basically one giant room. So let's get into how we were able to do this remodel for the client. A lot of questions people may have is, am I going to be able to remodel my kitchen and give it an open concept even if I have a small house? And the answer is yes, of course you can. The thing is, you kind of have to play around with, wall removals and things like that. But I mean, a good example for this client, like I said, it has 1,300 square feet, the whole house. And, it had a very small kitchen. And we were able to do a kitchen that is a much bigger kitchen than our own house. And our house has 3,800 square feet. So this just goes to show that not all small houses can't have an open concept and large kitchen. It can get pricey when you're doing these types of remodels, but you just have to have an open budget for anything for really to happen, because you might not expect something, once you start removing the walls, and the contractor will have to charge you more for it. But you just have to have an open budget and hope for the best. So the first thing that you want to do is, of course, look at the walls and see if they're walls that can be removed. If they are walls that are as support walls, you don't want the ceiling to actually collapse. So in those cases, you may not be able to remove those kind of walls. But we actually had a few situations like that with clients that wanted to have their wall removed, and they were a support wall. We actually installed a large beam for them. And for this particular client that I'm talking about, we actually installed a large beam and a post at the end of the beam, so that the ceiling is held up and it does not collapse. So that is an option for you if you do have a wall as a support wall. But the price for that can get really high, and we charged him about $4,000 for this to install the beam. We also had a situation with a different client. When we installed the beam, we actually only charged a small amount, but she was getting quotes from other contractors for $10,000 just to install the beam. So if you're having individual clients do a few different things in your remodel, it can get very expensive. So if you go with the same contractor, maybe you'll be able to find it a little bit cheaper for them to actually install the beam. But those are the prices. You do have to deal with it if you want that kind of layout. This client also had a soffit, which was actually very hard to remove. We were unable to actually remove the whole entire soffit, but we were able to shorten it a little bit so that it doesn't stick out so much and look ugly. And also the most important part was for the client, he couldn't actually open the fridge door all the way because the soffit was blocking the top end of the door. So what he wanted was to kind of just shorten the soffit at least a little bit. We were able to actually remove it by quite a bit, and we had to kind of reconfigure the plumbing a little bit. In the end, we were able to do this no problem. It just took some time, but sometimes you just can't remove soffits because you have plumbing inside or dock vents inside. And the biggest wall that removed for the client was actually this wall right here. This wall was massive, and actually we're surprised it wasn't a support wall. But the joists were going in a different way, so the support wall is actually on the other side. That's where we installed the beam. So we were able to kind of match the whole level of the ceiling. But this was actually a very difficult wall to remove. Not only was it a very heavy wall, because there was actually plaster inside of the drywall, which made it very heavy to destroy, to actually carry out. and throw it, in the dump. But also once we did remove the wall, there was a lot of, electrical we had to kind of reconfigure. And also the ceiling were two different levels. One side of the ceiling, the ceiling from the family room was a different level, and also the ceiling of the kitchen was a different level. So we had to, patch it up in a way that would make it one solid level and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. We were able to do that no problem. So that's some of the things that you might have, contractors deal with. So the wall that we removed and installed the beam, inside of that wall was actually a dock air vent that went all the way to the second floor. And this was actually a surprise for us. We were not expecting that vent to actually be in that place. We ended up not charging the client because, we promised him that, if there was, just a little bit of surprise, maybe we would charge him a little bit more. But in this case, it wasn't too big of a problem. We didn't charge him too much extra. So basically what we did to reconfigure this air vent was we opened the ceiling from the basement. That way we were able to actually get the dock vent underneath the floor and actually put it in a different place. So in this case we put it into in between the wall of the closet. The closet was actually like a little in the middle of when you get into the house. There's a closet, to put things in. That's exactly where we put the air vent. Also, something that the client was complaining about with the old kitchen was that the cabinets were actually very close to each other on both of the sides. And after removing that massive wall with the plaster inside, we were actually able to move over the cabinets a little bit closer to the family room so that it gives more space in between the walls where the refrigerator is and the new peninsula. You can actually see the line where the old cabinets ended and where the new cabinets are now. This didn't really take too much effort to do. We just had to kind of expand it a little bit more, but we did have to pay attention to where the gas was and also all the electrical that we did, because if we moved it just a little bit more, the actual gas pipe would be sticking out. The client also wanted double cabinets, so cabinets on one side of the peninsula and also cabinets on the other side of the peninsula. And we actually offered him a nice design feature to actually do like a dark blue color on the other side of the peninsula, on the side where the family room is, and it actually ended up looking very nice. And we also ended up installing blue panels on the side of the peninsula where the countertop ended. So it turned out to be a very nice look. I really liked how this kitchen remodel went. And we also added a pantry cabinet by the door. There's like an exit door that you go onto the patio. Over there was just like a little closet space that was not used before by the client. So what we did was we installed the cabinet pantry, and we kind of put a really nice trim on the side of it and on the top to kind of finish it off. And this was actually very complicated, much more complicated than we thought it would be. And that is because of the door hinges. The hinges were sticking out a little bit. And also the door was installed very unevenly by whoever installed it last. And that ended up causing problems because the door would actually kind of rub against but we were able to kind of play around with the doors and adjust them in a way that they would not rub anymore. But yeah, that's basically it. We were able to turn a 1,300 square foot home kitchen into a very massive and open concept kitchen. This is definitely a kitchen that you would expect in a house like 3,800 square feet like ours. And unfortunately, that's just not the case in our home. Our house has, like a very like a strict layout that you can't really remove any walls to kind of expand the kitchen, or else it would be like a very weird design. And in the client's neighborhood, every house is like different, so the house was kind of like a custom design, so that allowed for everything to be kind of reconfigured in a way that would allow for such a massive kitchen. So overall, this was definitely my favorite kitchen remodel that we've ever done. The client turned out to be very happy with this remodel and was very happy with our job. And now let's talk about the cost to actually make this remodel happen. And the cost will actually vary depending on where you live. Some regions have different costs and different, contractors. Like for example, California, the prices over there will definitely be much higher than in Illinois where we are. And that's basically because the housing market is just so much different in Illinois and California. So what we ended up charging the client for this kitchen remodel was $35,000 for just the labor. I'm not going to talk about the cabinet prices because everyone has different likings and styles that they prefer. So, you know, if you need to know the cabinet prices, you just have to find out on yourself because there's just different colors, different designs, so I'm not sure exactly what you guys would like to have. But that is going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and leave a like on this video. Also, comment down below what kind of videos you would like to see next, and I will be sure to make those videos. If you guys have any questions about this remodel or about this topic, make sure to put it in the comments below, and I will make sure to respond. And I will see you guys in the next video.